Ultra-processed breakfasts have become the default choice for many students, workers, and families trying to start their mornings quickly. Packaged cereals, flavored yogurts, pastries, breakfast bars, and sweetened coffee drinks promising energy and convenience. But a controlled feeding trial has revealed a worrisome pattern. People who begin their day with ultra-processed foods experience significantly stronger cravings and higher energy intake later in the afternoon compared to those who start with minimally processed meals. The findings suggest that the quality of the morning meal may shape appetite regulation for the entire day, setting a metabolic trajectory that is difficult to correct once it begins. In the study, participants were provided with two different types of breakfasts on separate test days. One consisted of whole or minimally processed foods such as eggs, oatmeal, fruit, and nuts. The other included common ultra-processed breakfast items like refined grain cereals, pastries, packaged granola bars, and sweetened beverages. Each meal delivered the same calories, but varied drastically in nutrient density, fiber content, protein levels, and degree of processing. Despite identical calorie loads, participants reported earlier return of hunger and significantly stronger cravings, particularly for sweet and high-fat foods, after consuming the ultra-processed breakfast. Researchers found that the UPF breakfasts caused sharper spikes and crashes in blood glucose levels, which triggered hormonal responses associated with hunger. Ghrelin, the hormone that signals the body to eat, rebounded more aggressively later in the day, while satiety hormones such as GLP-1 and PYY were less responsive. This hormonal imbalance created a biological sense of urgency to eat again, even when the body did not genuinely require more fuel. Participants who ate ultra-processed breakfasts consumed considerably more calories during afternoon snack periods, suggesting that early disruptions in metabolic regulation may carry through the entire day. The trial also provided insight into neurological effects. Neuroimaging and behavioral assessments indicated that participants exposed to ultra-processed breakfasts exhibited heightened responsiveness in brain reward circuits when shown images of high-calorie foods. This means that the body's internal regulation was not the only system disrupted. The brain itself became more sensitive to external food cues, making willpower almost irrelevant. Individuals who typically tried to control snacking found themselves craving food simply because they saw them, smelled them, or walked past them, underscoring how morning dietary choices may influence cognitive control far beyond the breakfast table. These findings directly challenge the assumption that calories are calories and that as long as total intake is controlled, food type does not matter. The controlled feeding trial demonstrates that nutrient composition, fiber content, and processing level play a critical role in how the body and brain interpret energy. Whole food breakfasts tend to stabilize blood sugar, support healthy levels of satiety hormones, and reduce cravings, helping maintain steady energy and mental focus. Ultra-processed breakfasts, however, appear to trigger metabolic instability right at the beginning of the day, increasing afternoon fatigue, irritability, and susceptibility to emotional or convenience eating. The consequences are more serious than simply wanting a snack after lunch. Over time, daily cycles of morning spikes and afternoon crashes can contribute to insulin resistance, weight gain, and chronic dysregulation of hunger cues. For students and professionals who depend on stable concentration and mood, this pattern can undermine productivity, encourage dependence on caffeine and sugar, and create a reinforcing loop of poor dietary choices. Many people are unaware that their daily struggle with cravings is not a failure of discipline but a predictable biological response to a poorly structured morning meal. The warning from researchers is stark. The first meal of the day may set the tone for the body's metabolic behavior for hours afterward. Choosing ultra-processed foods in the morning may seem convenient, but it could open the door to an entire day of intensified hunger, weakened appetite control, and excessive caloric intake. Even small changes, such as switching refined cereal for oats, replacing pastries with eggs and fruit, or choosing unsweetened coffee instead of syrup-heavy drinks, could drastically reduce afternoon cravings and support healthier patterns over time. Ignoring these findings risks normalizing a cycle of artificial hunger and energy crashes that quietly erodes metabolic stability. Ultra-processed breakfasts do not just fail to satisfy. They may actively program the brain and body to demand more food than needed. In a world already struggling with overeating and food addiction, the most damaging choices may be the ones we make within the first hour of waking.